Hey guys, Galactic Knight here. As you can tell, SpongeBolt is kind of mad at me because I didn't see the Transformers 1 movie with him when it came out.
Yeah, why is that? I thought you were a big Transformers fan.
I am. To an extent. Based on the popular toy line of the same name, this franchise has made a big impact on geek culture. And like most kids that grew up in the late 90s, early 2000s, I got into the franchise years later than most. Mostly due to it being satirized a lot.
Tell him, Megatron. Do as I command!
Okay, jeez.
And to be honest, the first live-action Transformers movie looked pretty cool to say the least. But after Age of Extinction, the feel for the franchise left me like, well...
I like to be fresh when I'm making out with your daughter.
Yeah. It also didn't help that the director of this movie also directed Toy Story 4 and was produced by the guys that produced the Michael Bay Transformer films. It also didn't help, despite having critical praise, it underperformed at the box office.
But to be fair, it was finishing second behind Beetlejuice, and was facing competition with the Wild Robot.
So I finally get to talk about our opinion of the Transformers version of Mufasa.
Isn't it a little late to be making Mufasa jokes, or early?
Just get on the couch so we can review the movie.
This is Transformers 1.
As the film begins, we get a zooming shot of the landscape of Cybertron. That, or they stole the designs from the mountains of Pandora. As we see a resident robot, Orion Pox, voiced by Chris...
Okay, let's see what we got here.
Hemsworth, okay, as he searches through the archives, going through the history of Cybertron.
What's this about?
There is a great disturbance in the Force.
Sorry, I couldn't resist.
He then gets detected by security.
Why does every legend about the Matrix end right there?
Because Warner Brothers lost faith in the franchise after the fourth one.
The security team catches up to Orion and...
Well, hello, guys. Yeah, I'm so glad you're here. Which way's the exit?
Okay, so here's the problem I have with the casting. Chris Hemsworth playing this Optimus would have sounded awesome. Both Chris and Peter Collins have both low booming voices that would fit the character very well.
Old Megatron, yesterday's model, ready for the scrap heap.
That's the best you can do!
But he's not playing that character. He's playing the rebellious teenage outcast that people will think will amount to nothing.
Oh, hold on. No need for violence. How about this? I run away, you chase me, we play that game.
And I know this is an origin story, and that trope works very well for this type of trope, but I don't see Optimus Prime. I just see a rebellious teenager that a lot of people will think will amount to nothing. If you tell a Transformers fan that's the origin story of Optimus Prime, no one would believe you.
But to be fair, this is a funny scene.
Yeah? Well, watch this. Get him!
We then see a chase as we see the animation matches the style of the Transformers. I guess since Michael Bay tried to make the franchise more tough and metallic with the color scheme. I am glad Paramount went back with the original color scheme of the 80s show.
But then there's the casting choice for who they got for the future Megatron, voiced by Brian Trey Henry.
I didn't mean you. I was referring to the bot who was behind you.
What's wrong with him?
The father of Miles Morales should not be the voice of Megatron. Yes, I know, it's an origin story, but come on, even Hugo Weaving in Michael Bay version sounds like a menacing threat. And if you say, why can't a non-white actor play Megatron, I can name a couple of actors who could fit better than the one they acted. Like, I can see Idris Elba play this version.
Let me guess. Checked out of the archives?
Yeah, I have to...
But I digress.
Orion then gives D16 a symbol of Mega Primus, who he is a big fan of.
Did have cogs.
I'd transform into a shovel and beat you.
That or a pistol to shoot you with.
As it turns out, Orion and D16 are miners under the lead of Elita 1, voiced by Scarlett Johansson, as they are mining for Energon to keep them stable. But an electric surge came through the mines, and another miner named Jazz, voiced by Evan Michael Lee, is trapped underneath a boulder, and Orion and D16 manage to get them out.
But I guess since they didn't follow protocol, Elita 1 is worried she would get fired.
They're not gonna fire you.
Leader 1, you're fired.
Wow, that escalated fast. Seriously, that was so rushed you could easily replace it with this.
They're not gonna fire you.
She did.
So after that scene, there was an announcement from their leader, Sentinel Prime, voiced by John Hamm, about the Iacon 5000, which of course is a play on the Indy 500.
Oh great, this movie promotes NASCAR. And Orion plans on joining the race.
Max, we're mining bots who can't transform.
Honestly, Keith David would have made more sense of that line. Blair, this is the most idiotic plan I've ever heard, and I've worked on Armageddon.
So it is the day of the race, and Orion and D16 sneak their way into the race, and Orion tricked D16 to enter the race and managed to make it into one of the spots on the board.
Did I win?
You participated.
That sounds like me in every contest I've been in.
They then are excited to see that Sentinel Prime came to see them and wants them to promote the miners to motivate them to work harder. But then Darkwing threw them into the scrapyard, and we are introduced to B-127, voiced by Keegan-Michael Key.
Oh, I am so sorry. That must have been weird for you. I just haven't had a lot of company since they put me down here.
So, here's the thing about this character. He can be on the annoying side. He's supposed to be the comic relief in the movie, but the high, fast-talking characters, just be glad he doesn't have the radio voice in this. Oh, and seeing how he's by himself a lot, he talks to Scraps.
This is EP508. This is AAtron, and this fella here is Steve.
It's crazy.
But when Orion accidentally kills B-127's friend, Steve, they discover a hologram that reveals a map leading to the other Primus. And B-127 leads them out of the scrapyard through the trash chute. Kind of makes you wonder why he didn't do that before.
They manage to sneak on board one of the trains and comes across Elita 1 as they are riding the train to the surface, which is a good time to talk about the animation.
I mean, look at this. This is definitely CG, but this is the most beautiful CG than the Transformers films in the past.
Plus, there are times where it does take a break from the fast-paced action for the viewers to soak it all in. Though, is it me or does it look like one of the rides from Universal Studios?
Orion shows Elita the map, and they convince her to tag along.
But I carry the map, I navigate, and if this leads to nothing, then I'm dragging you and those two idiot GoBots back to—
Did she just call them GoBots? As in the other 80s toy brand that also has transforming robots?
But I carry the map, I navigate, and if this leads to nothing, then I'm dragging you and those two idiot GoBots back to—
Isn't that like one of the Ninja Turtles calling someone a street shark?
You will explain everything that's happened using words that reflect me in a very positive light.
You know, the typical Scarlett Johansson lawsuit. As they follow the map, they come across some wildlife, pretty much making a reference to Horizon Zero Dawn, as they are hiding from a giant spaceship, evaporating everything it sees through red lasers.
They come across a cave with teeth, and they come across the remains of the other Primus.
They found Alphatron, voiced by Lawrence Fishburne. I know I did another Matrix reference before, but okay. And they try to power him up, and he tells them that Sentinel Prime was lying to them and is delivering the Energon to another alien group. And Alphatron gives them his former comrades, Cogs, after they also learned about how Sentinel stole theirs.
You just had to go to the surface, had to enter the Iacon 5000. You just had to break protocol.
What's the name of the actor that played Baron Mordo in Doctor Strange?
She would tell Aofor?
Yeah, he would make a better Megatron.
But then Arachnid, voiced by Vanessa Lajori, and a couple of soldiers attack, and they leave Alphatron to kill them off.
As they escape, they manage to get to a safe place as Orion and D16 are discussing their different plans, and the color reflects that.
Show everyone the truth.
You honestly believe it'll be that easy? Iacon doesn't want to hear the truth. They worship Sentinel.
I do like that the animation can give little details like that. There's also a little detail that D16's eyes change color the closer he gets to turning evil. They then get captured, and I swear to God, I thought the footage was going out.
As it turns out, they were captured by the former guard led by Starscream, played by Steve Buscemi.
It means he believes himself, like any spy would.
Should we do a joke on Steve Buscemi, even though he's a volunteered firefighter?
I don't know. What has he been in recently?
We could do a Camp Coral joke.
No way.
Also, Shockwave and Soundwave muzzled B-27 because he won't stop talking.
When he was unconscious?
Especially when he was unconscious.
Are you talking about the character or Keegan-Michael Key?
Megatron's fight with Starscream, and he announces his leadership to the group, showing more of his evil side, worrying Orion. But then Arachnid and Sentinel's army took D-16 and B captured after they attacked the base.
Orion feels lost as Alita plans to give him a pep talk.
I'm better than you.
Again, the typical Scarlett Johansson speech. But her speech gets to Orion, and they motivate the remaining guard to follow them to the city.
Why should we follow you? We will follow you.
Not gonna lie, lines like that do come out funny.
Meanwhile, Sentinel Prime announces that he will execute the prisoners as he brands D-16 in a very disturbing way.
A family picture.
Orion manages to sneak into the mine, surprising the other miners and encouraging them to fight Sentinel Prime, as Alita and the High Guard start attacking the city, but then Arachnid starts fighting Alita. I can't believe I keep crashing into buildings. At least Optimus keeps his shirt on.
They use Arachnid's eyes for the footage of Sentinel Prime, as D-16 and Orion argue over Sentinel's death, and D-16 betrays Orion.
Pax, you need to move out of my way before I move you myself.
Honestly, you can just have Principal Lewis play Megatron at this point. I can't go back out of this now. I took a deuce on my desk.
Yo!
Orion falls into the center of Cybertron as D begins to kill Sentinel, and he and the High Guard start tearing down the city.
But the Spirit and the other Primus saves Orion and has given him the Matrix, bringing him back to the service.
Impossible. Primus gave you the Matrix.
D-16 attacks Optimus and he gets his iconic cyber axe.
He's the one.
Optimus defeats Orion and banishes him and the High Guard from the city. And he uses the Matrix to give his fellow miners their own cogs so they can transform.
And the movie ends with Optimus and Megatron announcing the new civilization as the Autobots and the Decepticons.
So Knight, after watching this movie, what is your overall opinion?
Honestly, it's a lot better than these movies. Yeah, despite the nitpicking, the critics were right about this. The story is good and the animation is amazing, despite being a Transformers movie. But I am still upset with some of the casting choices. But besides that, like the slogan says, this movie was more than meets the eye.
Well, I'm glad you gave a positive opinion about a Transformers movie.
Yeah, it feels kind of weird. Maybe I should do a negative review about something.
Like another 80s property?
Maybe. I might have to sleep on it.